Hey traders, Marcello here, founder of the Day Trading Academy. Today we're going to be talking about the 10 tips for beginner traders. We're here in our day trading center in Medellin, Colombia. This is a lot of times where we do a lot of our training. Traders come from around the world to be able to trade with us as well. One thing I do want to let you know is if you have any questions or about training or anything like that, I've been getting a lot of questions recently. Just send them at support@thedaytradingacademy.com. and I'll be happy to go ahead and answer any of the questions you have about that. Any questions about trading, the markets, what kind of underwear I like, ask Marcello. Don't forget to put the hashtag. I'll be happy to pull those, and thank you guys so much for being so receptive for all the videos that I'm uploading. I obviously appreciate it very, very much. I never even thought that this would actually catch on. So if you have any questions, don't forget to let me know, and don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube as well. So the first thing that I want to discuss in regards to the 10 tips of becoming a trader is everybody is in this world because they want to make a lot of money, obviously, right? So there's a lot of money that you can make. I try to be a little bit transparent with you guys that you can lose a lot of money as well. So the first thing that I want to let you know is if you guys don't have any money, just don't do it. I want you guys to be really honest with yourselves. And I took a really big risk when I was younger as well. I took out about $25,000 in student loans. Actually, I think it was a little bit more than that, and I lost that in literally about a month. So I did what any other responsible man would do is I went out and I took more loans because I really wanted to make this a career, make it a profession. And obviously, in the almost 16 years now that I've been in this industry, learning, teaching, trading, having the academy, now all over the world, we have traders even in Tokyo, in Africa, and Brazil, everywhere. It's really something that I think that we have to become self-aware of ourselves and really make sure that we're going to take it serious. I do believe that anyone can learn how to day trade, but I also believe that most people don't really understand the sacrifice that it's going to take for you guys to learn this. This can either be the absolute best thing that you're going to do with your life or the absolute worst thing, because I have heard great stories of people going bankrupt and pulling through and being able to do this for a living. But I've also heard the other side of the spectrum where people have gone broke trying to learn how to do this as well. So I really think that you guys should make sure that you know yourselves, make sure that you know how serious you're going to take it. And if you do have to lend money to do this, make sure that it's not, house money or rent money or, food money, because you can lose a lot of money when it comes to day trading, and I don't want you guys to start in this world and lose everything with the hope or the dream of being able to kind of trade anywhere in the world and kind of living the dream, so to speak. So that's the first and foremost thing that I would recommend. The next thing is I want you to concentrate more on the psychology rather than anything technical. I obviously have a preference when it comes to the kind of markets to trade. Some people don't like some of the things I say online, those keyboard warriors, and that's fine. In my humble opinion, I really do believe that it doesn't matter. And I think this is one of the ones that I have on here as well. It doesn't matter what strategy you're going to use. It doesn't matter what indicators you're going to use. That actually was my third and fourth thing that I was going to mention to you guys. And I've seen a million different ways to day trade. I've seen a million different indicators combined a million different ways. And at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. There is no holy grail kind of trading system out there that you guys are going to use to be able to learn how to trade. It really comes down to psychology. I think that at the end of the day, it's something like this, where there's a base, where there's a fundamental understanding of how the market works. We at the Day Trading Academy use something called transaction bars or tick charts. And basically what it allows us to do is see the behavior or the movement in the market. And then, up here is the different kind of variations of strategies that all of our traders have used. I kind of say sometimes that at the end of the day, what we're doing is we're training our future competition, because we've had so many students now that have gone out and created their own strategies based on what we've teach, because at the end of the day, I'll be 100% sincere with you, it really doesn't matter what strategy you use, what market you trade, as long as it's not Forex or binary options. Fraud. Excuse me. It doesn't matter what indicators, how you combine them. The most important thing is really understanding market structure, understanding market behavior, and you don't need a specific indicator to do that. One thing I do want to let you know is that the majority of indicators that people use calculate information in the past, right? It's a moving average of certain amount of bars, or an exponential moving average of certain amount of bars, or a linear regression calculation. I'm not a statistics person, but it's the best way I can explain it to you is if we have to have, with a high degree of probability, how to be able to tell where the market is going to go, we can't be looking in the past. And that's the way that I look at indicators. So imagine you're driving a car, and instead of looking ahead of where the market can go, you're looking in the rearview mirror, and you're trying to guess where you're going to go looking in the past. That's kind of how I explain indicators. So it's really important to understand that there is no magic holy grail system out there. There are tons of traders out there, tons of people that sell courses, tons of people that supposedly make millions of dollars. Choose whoever you think is best. Do your due diligence. Talk to these guys, screen them, however you guys want to do it. But one thing, and I think I'm bouncing around here, that on my list that I have, you can learn 100% for free. You don't have to spend $10,000 or $20,000 to learn how to day trade, so keep that in mind as well. The way that I started learning how to trade is I took out student loans that I did have to pay for 4 years later, 6 years later when I finished school. But you have to make sure that if you're going to learn how to trade, that you take it seriously. If you're going to learn on your own, learn for free, just remember that it might take you guys a little bit longer than normal to be able to learn how to trade, because at the end of the day, if you don't have a guide with you, you're going to have to sift through what I call the keyboard warriors out there. This strategy is amazing, and this moving average, and this guy's a fraud, and this strategy is a fraud, and this market is the best, and this market's horrible, and this market's a fraud, and this broker, and that's right. So I started off with a strategy as well. I think I paid over $8,000 for the system that automatically drew these resistance and support lines. And at the end of the day, I found out that I could actually draw them for free later. So I don't regret that situation, because obviously it allowed me to meet all the traders that I've met over my career. It allowed me I did learn some aspects from that point as well that allowed me to kind of get to the point that I am now. So at the end of the day, just make sure that you understand that you can learn how to do it for free. It's just a matter of time. I do believe we're in, looking at the date, August of 2017, I do believe that we're walking into a pretty significant crisis. And in my humble opinion, I do believe that day trading is one of the best jobs that you can do, because it's going to allow you to make money even in the most horrible of markets. Now, that doesn't go without saying that just because you buy a course, that doesn't mean that it's guaranteed that you're going to learn how to trade. At the end of the day, it's kind of a give and take, right? You guys have to do what you're supposed to do of what the guy teaches you. If you don't, supposedly it's our fault. It's a really fickle business that way. So I want you, if you are thinking about getting involved in this industry, just take a close look in the mirror. Make sure that you're going to sacrifice what you need to. I do believe that you can learn how to do this if you have a full-time job, if you have kids, if you go to university, because you now, more than anything, you can learn how to do this on your own time, right? We use a lot of platforms now that record information. I record all the classes that we have for all of our traders, so you can literally learn at 8 o'clock at night if you wanted, or 2 in the morning, or Saturdays or Sundays. I didn't have that luxury that you guys have nowadays. I actually had to pull all-nighters repeatedly to be able to learn how to trade. So that's something that you guys should definitely do that. In my humble opinion as well, going to kind of 6 and 7 or 5 and 6 here, I would not trade binary options or Forex. The FBI, if you guys want to look this up on Google, the FBI is actually looking into the binary options market because of all the fraud that occurs in that market. Forex, I want to be 100% honest with you guys, you can make money with Forex, but in my humble opinion, it's not the best market to trade. I'm going to explain to you guys why. The Forex market is the biggest market in the world. There's a ton of liquidity. You can make a ton of money, but the majority of participants that are involved with that market are institutions, banks, guys like George Soros that broke the Bank of England, right? So we as traders, retail day traders, that means like you and I sitting in our computer at home in our underwear, right, learning how to trade or trading, you have to go out and compete with these guys. The day trading industry is a zero-sum game, which basically means that if someone's making money, someone's losing money. And there's a reason why banks and central banks, institutions, guys like George Soros have billions of dollars, and you and I don't have billions of dollars. So kind of do the math there. Now, once you become more developed as a trader or more advanced, then at that point, I would say if you want to switch to Forex, that's fine. I would personally recommend I was going to say options. I would personally recommend, I keep saying it in English, stocks. I'm in Latin America so long that now my English is failing me. I would recommend stocks or futures. One of the other things about Forex that I think is a bit of a problem is in order to have leverage or in order to have higher capacity to be able to make more money with less, you have to borrow the money and pay interest on it. So if you lose that money, it's a loan. You have to pay it back and pay interest on it. We're in a period of time where interest rates have been the lowest amount in the history of the world, not just in history, the history of the world, and that's not going to last forever. So it's a little bit more risky to have the leverage in Forex compared to other markets like, for example, in my opinion, futures. Futures, you don't have to borrow any money, but you know up front what the costs are. So you can make a lot more money with less, but you can also lose a lot more money with less. So keep that in mind. That's the downside with futures. So the majority of the traders that I have trained over and talked to over the last 16 years, the majority trade futures or stocks. They don't trade Forex, even though, full disclosure, I do know some traders that actually trade Forex, although I wouldn't personally recommend it because it's a lot harder to get into. Forex is the biggest market in the world, but the most traded market by professional traders in the world is the S&P 500 futures market. So keep that in mind as well. After that, and one last thing about the brokers and Forex is something called spread. This only happens in binary options, CFDs, and if I'm not mistaken, those three markets, Forex as well, and there's one more, although I can't remember what it is. This doesn't happen in stocks or futures, for example. A broker's job is to give you the best price possible. That's it. So if you tell the broker, listen, fill me at a certain price, let's say the stock market price is here, the idea of a broker, his job is to fill you at that price. Well, with brokers in Forex and binary options, they have what's called a spread. So in that spread, instead of filling you at the best price, they have a space between what the price is at and where you get filled. So once you are filled in the market, you're literally already starting off with a loss. And the brokers literally manipulate that spread in order to make money, not just a commission for putting in your order. And that doesn't happen with futures or stocks. That only happens with Forex, binary options, CFDs. So I'm absolutely against Forex. You might find other people that say that Forex is the best market in the world. It'll be up to you guys to decide what actually you feel is the best market. But in my almost 16-year career now, the majority of traders that I know do not trade Forex for those reasons, because it's highly, highly manipulated and it's not a regulated market. Since there's more than 200 countries in the world, there's more than 200 exchanges where you guys can trade from. And obviously now, we live in a world now where we have to be careful where we put our money, right? In 2008 and 2009, brokers like Bear Stearns and PFG Best, brokers that have been around for more than 100 years, went bankrupt. FXCM went bankrupt in the United States, a huge Forex broker that existed, I think, as of last year. They literally went bankrupt in the United States, and they're no longer allowed to operate. So that's another thing I think that we need to take account of. In terms of charts, best time frames in order to trade, I prefer transaction charts, like tick charts. I don't like, I keep thinking in Spanish, candlestick charts, because when you see candlestick charts, you see the same amount of information every day, even if the market changes or there's more volume or less volume. So if you're looking at candlestick charts, let's say we have the highest volume on record in the stock market history. You guys are still going to see 8 bars of 60 minutes, 16 bars of 30 minutes, 48 bars of 10 minutes, whereas people who look at transaction bars, like ticks or Renko bars, we're allowed to see every single transaction. So when the market's not moving well, we're able to see more information to stay out of the market. And when the market does move well, we're able to see more information to make more money. Obviously, there's a positive and a downside to everything, right? Obviously, even if you have more opportunities to trade, obviously that carries a risk as well. So keep that in mind. Other than that, the very, very last one I have here is take your time learning how to trade. Don't pressure yourself, because day trading at the end of the day is a psychological activity. It's 85-90% psychological. So you literally have to focus more on psychology rather than technical aspects. You know, learning how to get in, how to get out, or, you know, patterns and trend lines and reversal patterns, all that stuff is easy. To me, that's only 10 or 15% of the actual information you need to learn. The majority of people have trouble learning how to trade is because they don't want to face their fears. They don't want to get over themselves, their big egos, right? I had that problem when I was learning how to trade. So don't set a date on when you're supposed to go live, or don't set a date when you are going to think you're supposed to quit your job and buy the, you know, the new $100,000 house, whatever you guys' dreams are. Whenever you learn it, you learn it. So base your results, or base your decisions on results. If you have, I'd say, anywhere between, excuse me guys, if you have anywhere between, I'd say, 3 to 6 weeks of positive results, try to go live and see how it goes. So those are the best tips that I would recommend for you guys as beginner traders to learn. If you guys have any questions, don't forget to mark them as #AskMarcello. I'll be more than happy to go ahead and answer those questions for you. And also don't forget to subscribe.